Hi folks. So I wanted to do a video on the complication of having a pain condition and trying to get sober. So I'm going to share my own personal experience because I know it's a huge hurdle if you have a pain condition, are prescribed pain medications, and yet you have a feeling that you are addicted to them. Not that you rely on them because they work for the pain, but that you have become addicted to them. Now, the first signs of this are usually that you will start thinking about when your next dose of pain medication is due, like long before it's due. Another sign is that you will take extra and say, okay, like say in the morning and say, I'll just take less at night, but you don't. Another sign is that you run out of your medication before it's ready to be filled and end up asking for an early release or going to your doctor and saying, well, look, I was in too much pain. I had to take it. Can you prescribe a stronger dose or do an early release? It was just a bad week or a bad month for me. Those are all very common situations. So if you notice yourself, of course, if you're in pain, you may be thinking the first thing when you wake up is taking your medication. That can be normal. Sometimes that's being responsible, but if it's for another reason, if it's because it makes you feel good, it alters your state of mind, then that's different. So, and then, as I mentioned, if you are taking more than you should, and lastly, if you run out before it's due to be filled. I ended up with fibromyalgia, being diagnosed. I ended up with it while I was pregnant. I had occipital neuralgia as well. What happened, they think, is that I just chose to eat whatever I wanted. I said, heck, I'm pregnant. I'm eating whatever I want. For the first time in my life, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. I'm pregnant. I'm going to indulge in those cravings. I gained about 70 pounds. So fibromyalgia is damaged nerve endings. I ended up with it and occipital neuralgia. So I was hospitalized and I was in excruciating pain. They did not know what to do, and there was a risk that I could lose my baby as a result of the stress from the pain. So the pros and cons were weighed, and I was put on medication. I was put on pain medication. I look back now, and I wish that's not what the option was. This was a long time ago, and I'm going to touch on now there's more options. So then it was mainly narcotics available. There were not many other options. So what happened is, number one, I started thinking about when's my next dose of medication. I was on 2 different kinds of morphine, and I don't mind sharing that. And I would wonder, when is my next dose due? And so what I would do is I would take one kind at morning, lunch, supper, bedtime, and take the other kind in between instead of taking them as needed. I would make sure that, I have enough to take this many today, so I will take that many. So it started off with me taking them just as needed. I was on fast acting and slow acting, and the slow acting I was told to take, it was 3 or 4 times a day. Another one, as needed. Well, the as needed became needed, and I took as many as were provided to be able to take a day. And then I went back to my doctor for more and said, well, I need you to raise my dose. It's not working very well. I'm having to take this PRN medication, as per needed medication, all the time. So he raised it and left me with the as per needed medication. So I was taking more than prescribed, and leads into running out before it needs to be filled. And then I would just be out of luck and sore and not feeling good because I was going through withdrawals. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on at all. I thought that was part of the fibromyalgia. Such denial and just ignorance, malinformed. I had no idea. But all the red flags were there. When I look back, all the red flags were there. So now I'm not on a narcotic. I haven't been 4 years. And I take CBD oil, and I take something else that's not a narcotic. And I just want to recommend that there are other options out there for pain medications now, for pain management. There are pain management clinics on the island now, so you can go and get some help to get your pain under management, under control, and come off the narcotics. Ask yourself, am I taking this medication for pain or because it is mood altering and makes me feel good? It's ironic because when I first, I got injured before I got pregnant. I injured my leg really bad. I had a fall in the bathtub, and I was prescribed a narcotic, and I hated it at first. For the first week, I hated it. I was itchy. I didn't like it. And then my brain slowly just decided it liked it. So, what I did, and I look back now, instead of doing all of the physio I was supposed to do and everything, I made the injury last as long as I could to get that medication. And that was before the fibromyalgia. So the red flags are there. So I encourage you to look at your life and see if there are any red flags. It doesn't have to be with just pain medication. Do you take your medication at times other than it's ordered? Do you take more of it? Do you run out of it? Do you think about it a lot? If you've answered yes to those, I suggest that, you look further into this, because it is a deadly disease and it tells you you don't have it, right? I've mentioned it multiple times, and well, you want to find out if you do have it, because there are the steps, the meeting rooms, the fellowship, and there are resources to help. So no matter what medication it is, if you are abusing it, or if you rely on it, and more for just like anxiety medications, things like that, any medications, if you are taking them not as prescribed, that is a red flag. And if you rationalize it, that's another red flag. So just look inwards and try to look with clear lenses, and that's it. Just take a look with clear lenses, an open mind. Don't be ashamed. Just realize that, it's not your fault that you have the disease of addiction, but your recovery is your responsibility. Predisposition, trauma, all of these things are very common denominators in addiction. So, depending on your genetics in general, some cultures are more prone to certain things than others. So your genetics, like your history, your family genes, general predisposition, trauma is huge, and mental health. If you have a mental health condition that is going undiagnosed, then that can lead you to self-medicating because you don't know what's going on. You don't know how to deal with it, so you don't. But what that leads to is a lack of being able to cope, and then you need to relearn coping mechanisms. I know all about it because I'm still learning coping mechanisms, and I will be learning for the rest of my life because this is a disease that I will have for the rest of my life. There is no cure, but there is hope and there is recovery. There is treatment. So I urge you to just examine your medications and how you take them, what you're taking, and look at the alternatives. Ask a pharmacist and get a list of alternatives. Talk to your doctor, be brutally honest, and, things will work out because they did for me. And believe me, I was in a really bad position. So if I can do it, anybody can do it, really. So good luck and God bless. Take care. Thank you.